Jesus revealed how to release the healing power in your hands. Feel it tonight. Something happened 2,000 years ago that most churches have never fully explained. Jesus placed his hands on the sick, the suffering and the dying, and something transferred. Not a performance, not a symbol, but a real and living energy that moved from his body into theirs and changed them forever. Science is now beginning to measure what the ancients already understood with absolute certainty. The human hand generates a measurable electromagnetic field capable of influencing biological tissue. Jesus did not heal from distance alone. He touched, he pressed, he extended himself into the field of another human being with complete and total intention. Tonight, you are going to discover the precise method he used, rooted in the ancient Aramaic tradition in which he lived and breathed. And before this video ends, you are going to feel that same power moving through your own hands. Jesus did not heal in silence. He spoke. And the words he used were not random expressions of divine authority. They were precise, deliberate, and drawn from the deepest wells of a language that carries healing encoded within its very structure. That language was Aramaic, and understanding it changes everything about how you read the healing accounts in the Gospels and everything about what was actually happening when Jesus reached out his hand and transformed a human life. Aramaic is not simply a communication tool. In the tradition into which Jesus was born and immersed from his earliest breath, language was considered a living force, a vibrational medium through which divine intention could be channeled directly into physical reality. Each word carried its own frequency, its own resonance, its own capacity to move between the realm of spirit and the realm of matter. When Jesus spoke, he was not merely describing reality, he was actively reshaping it. The Aramaic word for hand, idha, reveals this philosophy immediately. The root of this word does not simply point to a body part. It carries within it the concept of extension, of reaching outward, of bridging the seen and the unseen worlds. When Jesus placed his idha upon the sick, he was not performing a ceremonial gesture. He was opening a channel. He was making himself into a living conduit between the healing presence of the divine and the broken reality of the human body in front of him. This is what the gospel writers were attempting to convey when they described his healings with such striking consistency. Mark records more healing miracles than any other gospel, and in nearly every account, the hand is present and active. Jesus touches the blind man's eyes. He grasps the hand of the dying child. He presses his fingers into the ears of the man who cannot hear and speaks the word epiptia, meaning in Aramaic, be opened. Not just the ears. The entire field, the entire frequency of that person's existence reorganized around a new signal. What Jesus understood at the deepest level is that the human body is not merely mechanical. It is a resonant system, capable of both transmitting and receiving fields of living energy. And the hands, more than any other part of the human form, are designed to serve as the primary instruments of that resonance. From this night forward, you will never look at your own hands the same way again. Modern science has done something remarkable in the past 3 decades. It has begun to measure what mystics, healers, and masters have claimed for thousands of years. That the human hand is not simply a tool for grasping and building, but a sophisticated biological antenna capable of both emitting and receiving fields of living energy. Research in bioelectromagnetics has confirmed that the hands produce measurable electromagnetic fields that extend several inches beyond the physical skin. These fields fluctuate in direct response to emotional state, focused intention, and conscious awareness. Jesus knew this. Not through laboratory instruments and peer-reviewed studies, but through something far older and far more precise, direct experience transmitted through an unbroken lineage of wisdom that stretches back to the earliest recorded prayers of the ancient Near East. In the Aramaic tradition in which Jesus was formed, this living energy was called Ruha, the breath, the spirit, the animating force that moves between and within all living things without ceasing. Ruha was never considered abstract or metaphorical by those who worked with it consciously. It was understood to be as real as water, as tangible as wind against the skin, as measurable as the pulse beating in your wrist right now. When Jesus healed through his hands, he was consciously directing Ruha. He was channeling the divine breath through his physical form, focusing it through the extraordinary sensitivity of the hands and transmitting it into the field of another human being with complete precision. This is not the language of superstition. This is the language of a tradition so ancient and so exact that modern science is only now developing the vocabulary to describe what it already knew how to practice 2,000 years before the first laboratory was ever built. The implications of this are staggering, because if Jesus possessed this capacity, and if, as he explicitly taught his disciples, this power was designed to be carried forward, then it is not locked away in first-century Palestine. It is alive right now. It is present in this moment. It is waiting in the field of energy that surrounds your hands as you watch these words unfold. You were never meant to simply observe what Jesus did from a comfortable distance. You were always meant to do it too. If these Gnostic teachings are awakening a desire for inner transformation within you, we prepared 2 guides on the sacred words where this journey begins. The link is pinned in the comments. There is a moment in the Gospel of Mark that most people read far too quickly. Jesus is approached by a man with a withered hand. It is the Sabbath. The religious authorities are watching from the edges of the synagogue, waiting to catch Jesus in a violation of the law they have spent their lives constructing, and Jesus does not perform a quiet, private, politically careful healing. He tells the man to stand up in front of everyone, and then he asks him to stretch out his hand. This is not an incidental detail. In the Aramaic world of Jesus, the act of extending the hand was a declaration. It was the physical embodiment of a state the Aramaic tradition calls betuha, openness, receptivity, an outstretched willingness to receive what is being offered without resistance or reservation. When Jesus told that man to extend his hand, he was not simply positioning a limb for a miraculous event. He was instructing the man to enter a specific inner state, one of complete spiritual receptivity. He was teaching him, in that single unmistakable gesture, the posture that makes healing possible from the inside out. This is one of the most consistently overlooked teachings in the entire ministry of Jesus. He required participation. He asked the blind man what he wanted before touching his eyes. He asked the man by the pool whether he actually wished to be healed. He told the lepers to go and show themselves to the priests before the healing had even visibly begun. Jesus was not dispensing miracles from above like a vending machine responding to desperate prayers. He was activating a co-creative process, one that demanded the recipient engage their own frequency, their own intention, their own willingness to receive something new. The hands, within this framework, are never passive instruments. They are not empty vessels waiting to be filled from outside. They are active participants in the exchange of Ruha between one living being and another. When you hold your hands with conscious intention, when you breathe your awareness into them, when you direct your focus into the field they generate, something measurable and real begins to shift. The electromagnetic output of the hands increases. The nervous system begins to reorganize itself around a new and cleaner signal. Jesus was not showing the crowds something they could never hope to access. He was showing them something they had simply forgotten. And tonight, we are going to remember it together. The name by which Jesus was known to those who walked beside him was Yeshua. This name in Aramaic is not merely a personal identifier assigned at birth. It carries within it the root Yesha, meaning salvation, liberation, and the complete restoration of wholeness. From his very first breath, the name of Jesus was a declaration of his mission. He came not only to forgive sins in a future heavenly accounting, but to restore wholeness to the present reality of the human body, mind, and spirit, now in this body, on this earth, in this life. Understanding this transforms how you read every healing account in the Gospels. Yeshua was not performing arbitrary acts of supernatural power to demonstrate divine credentials. He was fulfilling the deepest meaning encoded in his own name, bringing the frequency of wholeness into direct contact with the frequency of brokenness and allowing the higher vibration to transform the lower. This is the master principle underlying every healing recorded in the New Testament, and it is the same principle that underlies what you are about to experience in your own hands. The specific method Yeshua used in his healings involved three elements working in precise and simultaneous alignment. First, there was the physical placement of the hands, a deliberate, fully conscious act of extending Ruha into the field of another human being. Second, there was spoken intention, words in Aramaic, charged with layered meaning, that focused the healing energy with extraordinary precision, directing it rather than simply releasing it. Third, there was the complete absence of doubt, what the Aramaic tradition calls Hammadi, a state of inner certainty so total that it eliminates the energetic interference of fear, hesitation, and self-limitation before they can disrupt the transmission. These three elements together form the activation method that Yeshua demonstrated with such consistency throughout his entire ministry. The hands as instruments, the Aramaic word as a living tuning fork, the state of Hammadi as the clean and unobstructed channel through which Ruha could flow at full power. When all three are present together, the results, as thousands of years of testimony from every corner of the ancient world confirm, are extraordinary, beyond what the rational mind alone can explain. This is not theology, this is not doctrine, this is practice. And tonight, you are being invited into it with your whole being. If this teaching is stirring something in your heart, and you wish to explore it further, we prepared 2 guides that explains the first sacred words, where the journey begins, their layers of meaning and the transformation they carry. The link is pinned in the comments. Everything you have received in this video has been leading to this moment, because the teaching of Jesus was never designed to remain in the comfortable realm of information. It was always meant to become experience, visceral, undeniable, and personal. What you are about to do is not a metaphor, and it is not a ritual performance. It is a direct engagement with the same energetic reality that Yeshua demonstrated with such power in the streets and hillsides of Galilee 2,000 years ago. Begin by bringing your hands together slowly, palm facing palm, without allowing them to touch. Hold them approximately 3 to 4 inches apart. If you are comfortable doing so, close your eyes and simply breathe. 3 slow, conscious breaths, drawing your awareness downward and away from the racing current of thought into the present physical reality of your body. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the breath moving through your chest and abdomen. Feel the specific, tingling reality of the air-filled space between your 2 open palms. Now, as you hold that space with your full attention, begin to silently repeat the Aramaic word, Maranatha. This ancient invocation, used consistently by the earliest followers of Jesus in the days immediately following his ministry, means at its deepest level, "Come, Lord." It is an invitation extended not to a distant and inaccessible deity, but to the living presence of Ruha itself, calling it into your immediate experience, into your body, into your hands, into the space you are actively holding right now between your open palms. As you repeat Maranatha, breathe it. Feel it as a physical vibration moving through your chest, down your arms, through your wrists, and collecting as warmth and pressure in the space between your hands. Most people who attempt this for the first time notice something within 30 seconds to 2 minutes, a warmth building between the palms, a tingling along the fingers, a gentle, pulsing pressure, as though something invisible is gently pushing your hands apart. That sensation is not imagination, and it is not wishful thinking. That is your electromagnetic field becoming consciously aware of itself. That is Ruha responding to focused intention. That is the very beginning of what Yeshua spent 3 extraordinary years teaching his disciples how to use with full mastery. You are not observing a miracle from 2,000 years away any longer. You are standing in the same frequency that Yeshua stood in, and your hands, your remarkable ancient luminous hands, know exactly what to do. What began tonight as a video has become something more than that. It has become an initiation, quiet, personal, and entirely real. You have moved from observer to participant, from listener to practitioner, from someone who knows about the healing power in the hands to someone who has, even briefly and for the very first time, felt it stir and respond to their own intention. The teaching of Yeshua was never designed for libraries. It was never meant to be preserved in doctrine alone, locked behind theological walls that most people never find the courage or the invitation to climb. It was meant to be transmitted, body to body, hand to hand, frequency to frequency, from one living human being to another, across the centuries. Tonight, that transmission reached you. Something has shifted. Something has opened, and that opening once made does not close. The Aramaic words you encountered in this journey, idhe, ruha, ephphatha, maranatha, hymenuta, are not simply vocabulary. They are keys. Each one carries within it a living frequency that, when engaged with sincerity and with daily practice, opens a door in human consciousness that most of the modern world has forgotten even exists. Jesus knew these doors. He walked through them freely and without hesitation, and he did not close them behind him. He left them open for anyone willing to approach with the right inner posture. Open hands, clear intention, and the quiet willingness to receive what has always been meant for you. The path forward from this night is not complicated, it is simply a practice. Return to the space between your palms. Return to Maranatha. Return to the breath, again and again. Each time you do, you deepen the channel. Each time you do, the frequency becomes more familiar, more accessible, more naturally available to the people around you, your family, your community, the stranger in front of you who needs what only a human hand, offered with full and loving intention, can give. Jesus did not heal as a demonstration of exclusivity. He healed as an eternal invitation, an invitation that has never been revoked, an invitation that was written long before you were born, and an invitation that was always, from the very beginning, addressed to you. Visit Divine Light Academy, my site dedicated to bridging ancient spirituality and modern living. There you will find my guides and a deep journey into Aramaic, the living language of the Masters, designed to help you access states of deep resonance, clarity, and personal revelation. The link is pinned in the comments. Get ready. In the next video, I will reveal more sacred Aramaic words that unlock deeper spiritual understanding. Turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Right now, before you close this video, come to the comments and tell us, what did you feel? What shifted? We read every single response. And if this teaching found you today, subscribe to this channel. Every week, we go deeper into the ancient frequency codes that were always meant to be yours.